There is a popular TED Talk from 2010 called How to Start a Movement. In the 3-minute talk, Derek Sivers analyzes a video of an outdoor festival. At first, there are a bunch of people sitting around on a hillside, enjoying the day, and one man stands up and starts dancing in a particularly silly way. People cast strange looks, but he doesn't care. He's out there dancing with all his might. Eventually, and tentatively, a second guy joins in. The original dancer acknowledges the newcomer, and now two guys are flailing around with goofy moves, dancing like no one is watching. But people are watching, giving side eyes and looks of judgment. Then a third person joins in, followed by a fourth and a fifth. Soon the whole hillside joined in the goofy dance, and the once judgmental crowd welcomed into the fold of dancing people. It's a simple video explaining how movements, like social movements, start. But it's also a scenario that we have all experienced, whether at a wedding or a party, a senior prom or middle school social. We have all experienced that moment when the band is playing, but the dance floor is empty. Wallflowers are in bloom along the edges of the dance floor. And that same dynamic explained in the TED Talk plays out at these parties. On an empty dance floor, one person, maybe two, dare to start dancing, and a few more join in. And finally, for fear of missing out, the whole room is dancing. Well, we hear about two different dances in today's readings. The first, from the Old Testament, is King David, and the people of Israel are dancing before the Lord. Here's some context for that reading we just heard. David has unified the tribes and has been made king of all Israel. He wants to bring the Ark of the Covenant to the city of Jerusalem. The ark symbolizes God's presence. And the lectionary skips over this part, but for those who are paying attention, it's not the easiest thing to move. David is leading the dancing, wearing a simple linen garment rather than the robes or armor of a king. He is also dancing in a way that, from the eyes of society, or at least David's wife, is beneath the dignity of a king. But David wasn't dancing for his own honor and glory, but rather for God's. And after the dancing and offerings were made, the whole community was fed and rejoiced. David's dancing was to honor God and to benefit his society. But David's not the only one dancing in the lectionary readings today. Herod and Herodias' daughter did some dancing too. And her dance has less to do with dancing to honor God. The story of the daughter's dance is one of self-interested politics, power, indulgence, manipulation, selfishness, anger, and retribution. It's a dance that sees the world as zero sum, a dance that makes no space for forgiveness or understanding. It's an eye for an eye type dance that ends up with the death of John the Baptist, all because that prophet was speaking truth to power. Look at all the opportunities that story could have gone differently. Herod and Herodias could have heeded the prophet's warning from the beginning. King Herod could have chosen humility instead of pride and not made such a boastful promise. Herodias could have chosen forgiveness instead of vengeance, making peace with John the Baptist. The daughter could have chosen courage instead of unthinkingly following her mother's grudges. Any one of those would have changed the outcome of the story, but everyone acted in the way they thought the world expected them to act. Two dances are going on. Which one will we join in? We all get to choose who are we going to dance for. It's a choice that we make every day with our thoughts and words and actions. We can use our gifts and talents and efforts not for our own pride, but to humbly glorify God. We can work to heal divisions and speak of peace. Work to feed the hungry and clothe the naked. We can join in the dance like David's, where God is glorified and everyone returns to their homes well-fed and rejoicing. Or we can choose to dance the dance that the world expects of us, one that sees only through the lens of scarcity and fear, a dance that ends up with people grieving, angry, or dead. There is a dance of hate and a dance of love. They are each always inviting us to join in. I saw both dances at work this weekend. We saw the dance of hate last night when an individual chose political violence over dialogue and democracy. But I also saw the dance of love this weekend, thanks in part to St. Mark's. The Interfaith Center wrapped up its friendship camp with a closing ceremony on Friday. This day camp brings children from all different religions and backgrounds to learn, play, sing, and dance with each other. At this ceremony, they all shared what they learned during the week. They played music and grew in friendship, kindness, and compassion. And St. Mark's fingerprints were visible through the many volunteers and support of that camp. If you're not aware of Friendship Camp in the Interfaith Center, you could be proud of your church. The two dances were visible this weekend, inviting each one of us to join in, and they continue each day and every day. Choose to join in the dance of love. Make a point to be kind. Seek to understand and listen, and choose humility and compassion. Encourage the world to hope. Find a way to serve God and your neighbor. It could be as simple as volunteering for a friendship camp that helps plant the seeds of hope and unity for the next generation. Much like the crowds in the dance of that TED Talk, both dance floors are now full of people, and we are missing out if we don't join in. And if we don't choose, the choice will be made for us. Indifference is just being a wallflower around the dance of hate. On a different hillside, by a lake in Galilee, a man taught us how to dance the dance of love. He was dancing by himself with all his might, but then one joined in, and then 12, and then a whole movement started. And we can join in too. When we find ourselves dancing the wrong dance, which will happen from time to time in our lives, we can stop and join back in the dance of love anytime. We get as many opportunities as we need, and there's always room for one more on the dance floor of the dance of love.